Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. We're on the free-to-play account, and what's going on? Let's look around. We've got an attack with 30 creatures and a kill 15 critters quest that we're knocking off. We have this green and red spells that we can reroll. Let's see what we get. And 750 for red or white spells. Ugh, they want me to play Boros. They still want me to play Boros, you guys. But I always am willing to try again and hope that this time will be different. So what can we do differently with our Boros pile? We do have the Benalias, which I've said that's pretty strong. If we draw those, game might be interesting. We can definitely go back to the mid-range kind of power card route. Let me only grab the cards that represent true power. The cards I think are very good. And then we'll try to see if any of them have to be swapped out. Oh, I know. Boros Challenger, very good. Really, CGB? I can't help myself. This is actually really hard for me to do. It's like cutting off arms. Actually, I still think that throwing in an experimental frenzy. I know you've seen this before. Are we on Groundhog Day? We keep doing it because we hope this time will be different, my friends. Suppose Banneret. If we're doing mentory stuff, we do need some little things to mentor, don't we? There's Shalai. We could settle the opponent. Brar! Hiya. That'll teach him to attack. They'll never see it coming. That is one of the things about settle is it's good in control decks, of course, because it messes with how the opponent attacks you. But it's probably the most effective in decks where you don't see it coming, where you just never would have expected it. So do we keep up the Healer's Hawk flying shenanigans? Do we play with Pridemate, Healer's Hawk, and Leonin Vanguard to have super small creatures to go with all of our high end? Because look at all our 4-drops. We've got enough 4-drops. We've got a lot of token stuff. Cavalry Drillmaster I saw with Mentor is actually sort of a thing that you can do. But how much Mentor do I have? I don't have that much. Just a bit, just a bit. Knight's Pledge with Mentor, also a thing. Auras are bad, but we could give it a try. Nothing else has really worked. We could cheeseball the opponent with auras. And I do mean cheeseball them. Just, boom, deal with this. We don't have a lot of removals, so I'll need some of that. But I thought there was a red aura that was better than Knight's Pledge. Maniacal Rage is the same thing, except then the creature can't block. That's not very good. So let's get how's our creature count, actually? 14, very low. We're actually very low on creatures. Pretty high on spells. How does this happen? Well, I guess we have both Heroic Reinforcements, and we have, where is it? Where are you at? History of Benalia. So we have more creatures than it looks like we have. And the ones in the 2s, they are there. Do want to get some Lava Coil, Lightning Strike, Shock action into the deck. I'll try a couple of each. The Venerated Loxodon's a good card. Can't believe I missed that the first time around to bump up our critters. On Sarah's Wings is a good racing card for sure if we get it on a good creature, but I don't think I have anything that's quite worthy of a Sarah's Wings. Yeah, I am going to try to cheeseball them. Just gonna play a Knight's Pledge. See how you like that, and some Drill Master, and we'll just try to Aura Punk them. Is that a terrible plan? Probably. Turn 1 Fanatical Firebrand. Turn 2 Knight's Pledge. We could also do Healer's Hawk instead, but I think Fanatical Firebrand, am I saying this, is more efficient. But the main thing you want to do is throw it on Swiftblade Vindicator. Feel the burn, everybody. Drill Master, I don't really have enough 1-drops, or 2-drops for that matter. I think I can do better. Maybe Bounty Agent with Vigilance and some utility is a better idea, though it's just begging to get shocked and die horribly. It's not like we have a lot of lifelink. And the red 2-drops are all pretty bleh. Now, I'd love to run this card, but double white is really hard to do when we're already having potential mana issues. All right, I'll give the Bounty Agent a try. I've been very resistant to the Bounty Agent. Maybe I'm supposed to do like a little more modest, keep my creature count a little bit higher. We'll do the Drill Master, the Knight's Pledge, the Bounty Agent. We'll do a little bit of all, and we'll see how it performs. I'm actually amazed. I'm keeping the Knight's Pledge. That's who I am now. Just try to play auras and make my creatures big enough to keep attacking. I'll do some glory. And yep, welcome to Groundhog Day. Another day of trying to make Boros work. Cut those. Let's get a few. God, the tap lands are gonna hurt. I guess I can't really go that hard on tap lands, or I might never get to play anything. How's our colors? Pretty even. So we should try to keep this even. So 9 and 9, 4 tap lands, and those. Boros, do it. Go get this quest. If I win 2 games, we'll call it improvement. See, I gotta get better too, everybody. You're with me along on the ride. Now, supposedly, I'm like 22 days without soda now. My skills should be through the roof. I should have like super hearing. I should have like all kinds of superpowers now that I've given up soda, right? Isn't that how it works? It's like almost being vegan, but not totally. I should have lasers coming out of my eyes. I should have X-ray vision. All the things that are supposed to happen when you give up soda. It's a keeper. Red mana. Well, that's a decent draw because now we can go the full curve. Banneret, Challenger, Angel. The thing is, do I want to save a shock? And I don't think so. I can't be sure my opponent is mono red here. They might be something else. They might be a different deck. People sometimes play other decks. It's been known to happen. All right. Shock, lightning strike, I'm sure. No mercy. The red deck, all the removal, and then the Firebrand arrives. Let's keep testing them. We're gonna need a lot of creatures to keep testing them. We'll see. We're gonna make them have all of them, all the burns. They probably do because they didn't have early creatures. That's usually what it means. Still, those burn spells are gonna hit your face if you don't do something about it. Might be Goblin Chainwhirler fodder, which would be too bad. But our opponent, oh, they did find their 3rd land. I was gonna say, they missed it, but then they found it. Ah, Steamkin, excellent. Shock your Steamkin. Interesting. Drill Master. So I thought the opponent might be holding another shock or a 1-drop play, or else the Firebrand just kills the Steamkin, but it doesn't appear that they were. Well, in before Goblin Chainwhirler, which deals 1 damage to everything, would kill these. Cross your fingers. Never mind. Fingers uncrossed. Okay, So we could use Deafening Clarion here to kill the Chain Whirler, but I think it might make sense to make some 1/1s with Memorial of Glory, and if the opponent doesn't play another creature, we could give those lifelink, but then they would die too. So maybe I'll wait one turn, let the Chain Whirler hit me, and decide how to Clary. Like, I just want to kill more creatures because my opponent right now has more spells and threats than I do, and it's very concerning, you might say. So I would love to kill more things with the Clarion. And the turn. All right, here comes the flood. I think we better do this now. You can give all your creatures lifelink as well, not that it matters when all the creatures are dying. All right, the opponent had more lightning bolts. All the lightning bolts. God, the red deck is annoying. It is by far the thing I hate the most about the game of Magic. If I could abolish Mana Screw or the exact deck type of mono red, I would abolish mono red. Sorry if that hurts anybody's feelings. All right, let's make our dorks. We can do this at instant speed after the attacks are declared, and that can help us kill the Pyromancer. Yeah, they've got it all. How impressive. And we have land. That's enough for me. Not even close. Don't even want to play anymore. It was a good hand, and then we drew, I think, about 5 or 6 lands in almost as many draw steps, and that was the end of it. Let's see if we play another red deck. All right, Knight's Pledge and Tajik. I suppose I'll keep this. Apparently that's the Memorial to Glory's church bell going on and on. Interesting. All right, black-green. Probably unlikely to be an easy matchup, but could be an interesting one. So we'll launch our Firebrand. There's a Branchwalker. Only has 1 toughness. So we could play Tajik and kill the Branchwalker with the Firebrand, but then Tajik isn't mentoring anybody, which is a little bit sad. Tajik could mentor the Firebrand, but then the Branchwalker would kill it. Now, this is the main problem with Tajik in the meta, because decks that play like Golgari decks, they just gum up the ground with all these Explorer creatures, and Tajik doesn't have good attacks. I think that the right play in this scenario will be to use the Firebrand to kill the Branchwalker, which still isn't a good trade. Our opponent got a land off of it. It's known as a 2-for-1. But then we do get to at least Tajik the face, and we get to Knight's Pledge the Tajik if the opponent does not kill it or put something else in the way. We can also Lightning Strike something out of the way. We're definitely in the market here for another white source for our Resplendent Angel. We do need more threats on the board to make our Loxodon better, which is another reason it's hard to give up our Firebrand. Yep, as usual, more creatures to get between me and the opponent. And they did not put a land on top? Okay. And they have elves. All right. We're having a party. We drew another creature, which is good. Tajik can gain first strike, so now that I have mana available, we can attack and see if the opponent blocks. If they do, we'll use first strike, and if they don't, we will not. Now the problem with Golgari is they may actually want to do this. And there you go. That's a very strange double block, though. And that tells me they probably didn't read the card, because First Strike will kill both those creatures before they can touch Tajik. So unless our opponent is that aggressive about filling their graveyard, that looks like a very silly play on their part. It keeps us from progressing our board. Not saying it doesn't, but still seems pretty silly. Ah, they want to fill the graveyard for their troll. Okay. Well, I can attack with Tajik, and if the troll blocks, I can give Tajik First Strike and Lightning Strike the troll and make a 1-for-1 trade. So I will try it. Let's see how much the opponent likes their troll. Oh, they are a hard troll. They will take this damage. So now we'll unleash a Bounty Agent. And our opponent is going to start making a pretty big troll, as long as they can keep that graveyard stocked. And I bet they have that ability. We're going to need to draw Justice Strike would be great. Settle the Wreckage would be nice. Of course, we need another white first. Or we need to pressure our opponent so much they can't attack us, even with a huge troll. Gruesome Menagerie to get creatures back. Interesting. So, is that gonna leave any fuel for the troll? Not much, just one. Alright, Plaguecrafter. We could Lightning Strike in response and make the opponent sacrifice something else, but refilling their graveyard doesn't seem smart. I'll sacrifice the Bounty Agent, my opponent will sacrifice the Elf. Bowspore will fill the graveyard a little more and put a land on top. So they want a 6th land, so they must have Thousand Eyes or something like it. And now we're taking damage. Yeah, I think I just need to Lightning Strike my way through my opponent's creatures now. I don't think there's other good options. A Shalai can fly over them. That's not bad. If we attack, the opponent might block. That would be really annoying. I think better to play Shalai, but if I'm not attacking, can I win the game really? Realistically? Do I have any chance of winning the game if I'm not attacking? I don't think so. I think I need the opponent to not block me here, and I have to take this shot. Alright. And now we'll play Shalai. We have a 2-turn clock with Shalai. Unfortunately, the troll is going to be a tight race. What I mean by a 2-turn clock is we can put Knight's Pledge on it, get him for 5, then get him for 5 if the opponent has nothing. And it gives us a chance. Well, that's some garbage. That's my luck. The Kroll Harpooner will take Shalai right out of the sky in embarrassing fashion. Or will it? Oh! Tajik! Tajik's ability, that got me. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. So the Kroll Harpooner fought the Shalai and didn't live to tell about it. Because Tajik prevented all non-combat damage. I'd never even thought of that. You learn something every day with Taj. Alright, there's a land. We draw one ourselves. What's the play? I think we gotta go with the Knight's Pledge on Shalai and the attack. We gotta try to end the game. There's just no other way to do it. Give me one more turn, please. And we have to also hope our opponent doesn't attack with these creatures. If they attack with everything, I'm dead. But there's just no other way to try to do this. We just hope that they miss it. They've missed a few things this game. Let's hope they miss this. Yep, good choices. Good choices. Well, I do have a quest to kill my opponent's creatures, so I'll block here, and I'll activate Tajik. And then at least we made a game. We work on our quest a little bit, but it's going to be another sad defeat. Here in the hands of Boros. Oh, these Boros quests. Always here to humble me and remind me that I'm not that good at Magic. Alright. Every time I might think I'm getting good, you're not that good. You can't make budget Boros work, CGB. Got to chase your white whale. You must pursue this task till the end. Well, that's a hand. Banneret? Yeah, we'll lead on Banneret, because next turn we can play like Firebrand and another Banneret or a Knight's Pledge, depending what our opponent does. Just give ourselves all the options. We miss out on 1 point with the Firebrand, but my hope is that somewhere around turn 3 we can play Firebrand and pump Banneret and then mentor the Firebrand right away. All right, Mike is in the tank. I'll be here when you're ready, Mike. Just you go ahead and think about that turn 2. All right, Jeskai control, probably full on all the right lands, everything perfect about it. Mythic as hell, and they can't make a decision on what to play. Love it. All right, shall we deploy into a Clarion, or shall we pump our Banneret and just try to deal damage that way? They're making me click through everything, so they have a removal spell. All right, hits. I'll play another one. I'm still going to hold back the Firebrand until I can mentor it right away. I don't want to get blown out by a deafening Clarion here. I can also play Firebrand and Knight's Pledge it right away if the Bannerets die. The opponent is holding a Lightning Strike or a Shock, and if I activate either of my Bannerets, they will use it. I promise you this. I can tell just from the way the cards are being dropped. All right, let's launch a Firebrand. Let's move to combat. If I go to attacks here, I still think that my opponent wants to strike something, but they might just take the damage if I refuse to do it. And maybe that gets more damage in. Yeah, because then if they point at one creature, I will pump the other. So that got them to take damage they may otherwise not take. I'm still going to hold back my Challenger and my Knight's Pledge in case of a Clarion or Sweeper, I believe. Well, if they had a Clarion, would they play it there? I think they would. Besides, getting them to tap out and then casting Heroic Reinforcements can't be bad. At the same time, right now I'm playing into counter magic. I'd rather force the counter magic next turn, and then I can have a free pump on the Banneret. So, yeah, we'll say go. And just make them waste their mana and keep taking some damage. Knowing what to play around with Jeskai is really hard, and you can't always be right. Sometimes you just won't be right. All right, so I'll take 2 damage to play this land because the life total doesn't matter much. I'll pay 2 mana for a Boros Challenger. And let's see if the opponent lets this resolve. They do. We'll go to combat. We'll send both Bannerets because of Settle the Wreckage. And I'll pump a Banneret, and let's get that Lightning Strike spent now on the turn when they could be casting a Chemister's Insight or some other card draw instead. So we punish them if they do want to use a draw spell. Alright, they take it, and I bet they Insight. No. Bizarre. So, hey, sometimes you're wrong about everything. And there's the Clarion. It was a little late, but they're tapping out now, so we'll get to punish them with heroic reinforcements. They were trying to be, I think, a little cute and extremely patient with it. But that tap land means we get to at least punch them for 4 here. But I would like to stop drawing lands now and start drawing Banefire. Take them down to 7. Oh, look who it is.
Trust me, you'll thank me later.
I'm sure I won't.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
So we played probably the 3 meta decks, the 3 best meta decks in all of their full-fledged glory. So whatever's up with matchmaking, I'm 4 weeks into free-to-play, and I'm getting paired against the absolute tier 1 of the metagame. So take that for what it's worth. It's really easy to complain about that when you're in my position here. We are getting the full brunt of standard and full pay to win, if you want to call it that, stuff. So, All right, let's go face and try to set up a lethal Banefire. Or Shock or Lightning Strike off the top. There's the Seal Away. So the reason we targeted one creature with the Aurelia and the other creature with the Knight's Pledge was in case one got removed. However, if we were playing around specifically Seal Away, we should have put the Knight's Pledge and the target from Aurelia for Vigilance on the same card. It's hard to know if you should play around Seal Away or Justice Strike right now. Cards do very similar things, and they both get thrown in the decks for different reasons. Yep, this is the deck, at least from the look of it so far, that won the Grand Prix. So, if we lose, I think we can take it on the chin. We did our best. We were completely unfairly matched.
To move quickly.
Maybe I'm supposed to play all my commons and uncommons and none of my mythics instead of trying to get my mythics into the deck, even though they're like mishmashed. Anyway, I'm gonna try not to keep complaining. It's really hard though. If you've been in my shoes, I think you know the feeling. And we kind of hang on and sit here flooding out terribly because we hope Banefire is somewhere nearby, and there's nothing else you can really do. They blink of an eye their own Seal Away to draw an extra card and have their Seal Away available. And I guess they're trying to get me in burn range as quickly as possible, so that they can finish the game with Expansion Explosion, Fight with Fire, something like that. Yep, that's not gonna do it. I'm going to concede because Teferi is going to ultimate, then our lands are going to get exiled, and then the Banefire won't be uncounterable. The opponent might not have a Chemister's Insight or another Teferi, but I don't care anymore, and I can't even cast the spells I have to achieve my quest. About as bummer as it gets. Anyway, once again, my Boros deck is a failure, and I'm going to try at least something else to try to get a quick victory before absolute pain and suffering set in. I have good cards that I don't draw. That seems to be my Boros, that seems to be what's going on. Like, I look at all these cards, and what I've done in each game is I've drawn land until the game ended. And it's just so hard. It hurts. It hurts. I'm not afraid to tell you this. It's like the frustration. And I feel like I kept good hands. Anyway, I'm gonna go more like burn your face and just get lucky. Because trying to play like good cards strategically has been a fail for me. So maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Maybe I'm trying to be smart, and all I really need to do is be lucky. So I'm just gonna play a whole bunch of cheap stuff. Yeah, that's 60. There, quickest 60 I ever made. Without explaining it too much, I just picked the cards that I felt were the most powerful. Oops, nope. Silly Boros things. Check my colors. Mostly red, so I guess the way that's done makes sense. I'm not even gonna name you. I'm not gonna name you until something good happens to me. Also, to be fair, I've been completely overmatched in every way, in every game so far. Full-on Golgari, although that Charnel Troll build is a little different than what people play on the ladder, so I gotta give that a little credit, but full-on Red and full-on Jeskai, hard not to tilt about that. It's a slow hand, but what am I supposed to do? I have to play Guild Gates. I can't go turn 1 Firebrand, turn 2 Challenger most of the time. We just gotta hope it works. All right, let's launch the Challenger. If any of these can live for a minute, maybe we can play a game of Magic. Never mind. All right, I think the next step is to play another Challenger and shock the Lava Runner to at least, if they're going to use Wizard's Lightning, we want it to be what you'd call full price. We want them to pay the full cost of the Wizard's Lightning. 3 mana, please, for your bolt. Okay, well, at least in this case, we're going to do Shock Firebrand, which is a 2-for-1. It's a lot of resources to kill off the Challenger. Let's get History of Benalia going. We could play another Challenger and have another 2-3. If my opponent has any more removal spells, though, I want them to remove this. It also sets up a next turn where even if we don't draw land, we can go Firebrand, Challenger, Loxodon, using the Knight to make all our creatures much bigger. Well, that's a good card, too. Yeah. Actually, no. No. We're gonna try to beat our opponent before the Frenzy can do all of its frenziness by making all of our creatures as big as possible. So, before we play this, we want to attack because we have Vigilance. So this doesn't tap to attack, so we'll send that in. Then we'll play out our Firebrand and our Boros Challenger, a land, and our Venerated Loxodon, tapping all of these and giving them all a boost so that next turn they can beat the holy hell out of our opponent. They're going to need a lot of power off their experimental frenzy to survive. Now, a few turns of frenzy hitting a bunch of lightning strikes and shocks could do it. But I think we just had the kind of swing turn that Convoke and Venerated Loxodon can do to turn this thing around. Uh-huh. Are you going to really attack me here? That seems absolutely crazy. I guess they take the faces, the places, the most literal of things. Banefire off the top. That'll get them. They don't even live. It's like the one time I've drawn the Banefire. I don't even get to cast it. Okay. We did it. We survived. We got our gold. We did win a game with Boros. The highs and lows of Magic. Enjoy the ride. All right, so this was a quest deck yesterday. This was a quest deck. I think we can give some blue a workout. Is there anything to update blue? Anything I'd like to do differently? I'm just going to look at my cards and see if anything stands out as something I'd even want to play in this deck. Of course, card selection for decks is a matter of preference, but Sleep has been played in a few lists online, and I'm willing to give it a try. So what can I cut? I haven't loved my Disdainful Stroke, so that can hit the bench. And Blink of an Eye is sort of like a filler anyway. 18 creatures. I think I'll also up the creature count just a little bit because I don't have all the dive downs. And maybe there's one more card I can pull somewhere. I guess having multiple sabotages, it's like I don't have enough 2-mana counters. Okay. So what I'm going to play instead are the 2-1 voice. Whoa. The 2-1 Flying Kitesail Corsair I'm going to try out today. Pirate. Arg. So, but is pulling all my bounce really a good idea? Well, it's good against control decks, that's for sure. Although another Essence Scatter, maybe I have too many of those because I don't have enough counters against control. So we'll get the other sabotage in that way. Yeah. 21 islands. Let's try 20. Let's get dangerous in here. And I'm gonna just put in a negate. Although I guess Disdainful Stroke is better for most things that you need to beat with this deck. Your matchup against control is already good without the negate. And now we've got the sleeps for the creature decks. All right, let's give it a shot. A few more quests. Although I guess we could work an event. See if we can get to 7 wins again. We did last time. There's no reason not to start working another event. Oh wait, I don't have gems. No, I'm not buying anything. This is free to play. Free to live my life. I'm putting in the gold. Let's go, tempo. Turn on my heater. Get a little heat going in the room. Okay, this hand is not that great because it's all creatures, but at least the Storm Tamer can double as a protection spell for the Jhin. So I will keep it, and we'll plan to lead on Herald, then Trickster, or Storm Tamer. Depends what the opponent does there. And then we'll get our Jhin going. And maybe we're up against vampires. That life gain can be a pain. And it's going to be in a Johnny's Welcome. And we draw a dive down. So we could hold that up. I think it's best to hold the Trickster for a time when it could be more useful, either ambushing a creature in combat or taking away an ability. So I'm going to use the Storm Tamer here. Opponent's sitting on something for 1 black, or they like full control. Pride Mate. That's scary. With the Johnny's Welcome, that can be a very large creature. We're going to have to tap it down, fight it, and fight it. This must be that Nightmare Thirst card that my opponent's holding. 1 black, it's like gain a life, target creature gets minus something. But you'd think that they would have already played it, but they might be playing around this card, Curious Obsession, which we'll go for now. Very lucky top deck, and exactly what you want to do. We can play it here and hold up Dive Down and Siren Storm Tamer, so that's easily the best play ahead of the Tempest Shin, which we don't actually want to cast in this deck most of the time until we can protect it. Alright, damage in. Card off the top. And say go. The opponent not trying to use that Nightmare Thirst on the Herald, they must not have it. They must be playing in full control mode for whatever reason. That'll get annoying when you start activating your Pride Mate too much. Just to let you know, opponent. Oh no, another one. Uh-oh. This could get really nasty. We might not be able to pull this one off. It'll be dangerous. Or they're just slow rolling that Nightmare Thirst. Yep, there it is. All because they wanted to be really greedy, but there. We'll use our Dive Down to protect our Herald so that the Nightmare Thirst does not happen. But we'll have to take a big old 4 spot, hit for 4 from the Pride Mate. Okay. Is there any world where we don't want to attack with Storm Tamer? I don't think so. It should be protecting the Jhin. That's really the bottom line. So we may as well attack with it. And we should attack with Herald too, because we need to draw that card. How we're going to deal with these, I think we're going to have to put them to sleep or play enough Merfolk Tricksters to slow them down. And playing Tempest Shin here and having a Storm Tamer to defend it, that's also got to be the line. We also may just need to trade off our Tempest Shin. It's scary, but if we trade 1 for 1, you know, if we just trade resources, we might be okay. There's a murder. We'll defend our Tempest Shin with the Siren Storm Tamer, sacrificing it to counter a spell that targets a creature we control. If the opponent attacks here with this Pride Mate, yes, I do think I'm going to block. I think if we trade, because I'm drawing extra cards, in the long run, I should be able to win. It's good old fundamental magic. Draw more cards. Draw 2 cards while your opponent draws 1. You should eventually be able to win if you have at least some parity in your cards. If all my cards are horrible and all my opponents are great, that may not work. So, do we play the other Jhin? We have a Disdainful Stroke to protect it. And if we don't, our opponent might kill our Mistcloaked Herald, which is a very important card to us. The Disdainful Stroke can't protect it from everything, which does make this scary. It's a very scary turn, but these are both high-profile targets. And if my opponent has more murders, what will they even point them at? They're going to use a Skymarch Bloodletter. So I can play the Trickster, and I can tap the Pride Mate so that the life gain effect doesn't happen, so it remains a 3/3. Or I could try to trade it with the Tempest Shin. I think I like using the Trickster here. It lets us at least get a nice hit in and put the opponent under a lot of pressure. So this will tap down the Pridemate and take away the ability. It leaves us a bit vulnerable to another Nightmare's Thirst. But we weren't going to be able to counter that anyway. Alright, the turn is being passed. We definitely play our land. We could chart a course first. If we did that, like, discarding a land isn't a big deal, but it might be, because you never know when you need that extra point off your Tempest Djinn. So let's analyze. If we get in for 8 this turn, then our opponent's at 7, then one hit from the Djinn could be lethal. So maybe having the island is important. The cards we could draw that would help would be Sleep, of course, that would get more damage through. And also another Curious Obsession would draw another card this turn. So whether or not to aggressive chart a course, I think I'm going to do it after. I think that's a conservative play, but I think it's worth it. And now we'll attack with everybody. We'll see if our opponent is willing to block the Trickster. Or if they're willing to chump block the Tempest Djinn with the Skymarch Bloodletter. Again, getting them to trade off resources is good for us as long as we're drawing more cards. And they're going to take all the damage. That's a lot of faith in their life gain. I wonder what they have in their hand. Maybe it's a Call the Feast, but we drew a Wizard's Retort, which is a pretty great draw. And unfortunately, our chart, of course, just drew 2 land, but we would have had to find our way through those lands regardless. There is the Call the Feast. We have the Disdainful Stroke to shut it down. It's a really good with a Johnny's Welcome, gaining life 3 times by making 3 creatures, making a 6/6 Pridemate. But we have to shut that down. Alright, now the opponent does have a chump block for Tempest Djinn, and they go to 1. Not over yet. Take that action, draw that card. It's a protection card, so we will play it. And with the Wizard's Retort, this game should be in the bag. It's a blocker, but it doesn't kill the Djinn. It does gain a life. I don't think that there's anything else the opponent could have here to save them, so I'll just use the counter spell to get it done. All right. We got a pack and we got the gold. If you're new around here or just want the reminder, we save our packs and our gold for Friday, which is crafting day, when we craft our fresh new cards. Now, my grinding pace is about an hour Monday through Friday. The videos that I share with you follow that pace. Your pace on free to play could be better. You do get rewards out to 15 cards in free play, and you can play in quick constructed. At least that's why I keep calling it. I think it's just called constructed now. Which, trying to get to 7 wins to get even more rewards. You could keep doing that as much as your heart desires. You go infinite, so to speak, and continue to up your unlock count as long as you get 4 wins or more. Let's look at this hand. I can't keep it. These are nothing but wimpy creatures and too many lands. So this is an example of a hand with this type of deck that you should mulligan. Now this hand is also not good. We have 1 creature, we have no Chart of Course, we have no Opt, we have no Curious Obsession, we have no Tempest Djinn. However, we do have some counter spells. They might buy us a little bit of time, although Disdainful Stroke is not a counter spell you ever want in your opening hand since it won't be useful till turn 4. But I don't think I can mulligan anymore. I think I have to keep it, and I think I have to keep that land on top too. But this is a very weak hand. We'll have to draw, fortunately, to win this one. The sleep also is not really a card you want in your opener. You don't know if it's good in your matchup or not. And its usefulness depends on a board presence that pressures our opponent. I'm not sure if we will have that. Right now, one Siren Storm Tamer doesn't do the job. I can promise you that. And now we've drawn 2 straight lands. We wanted one of them, but now if we flood from here, it's very unfortunate. Storm Tamer getting the job done. Radical idea. Looks like our opponent might be playing, is it Phoenix? The Arclight Phoenix deck? Or some kind of a Crackling Drake deck? And here comes Enigma Drake. We'll go ahead and sabotage it. People say I look like the Sinister Sabotage art, if you look closely. Another land off the top. Shuffler Broken. I did? Alright, I guess I could have scried that land to the bottom. But there you go. We've drawn more than a quarter of the lands in our deck. In a time when we needed just about anything else. The ideas remain radical. Our opponent might be having trouble getting lands, or not. Maybe they just really like casting spells on their main phase. 2 cards with Chart of Course, discarding probably an Arclight Phoenix if they're fortunate, and if not, they'll have something else to do with their next turn. I would love to draw a Chart of Course. And Crackling Drake discarded, wow. Didn't expect that. But it does mean they likely have many more, so this Disdainful Stroke will have to do the job. We might still be in the game if we can rip a Curious Obsession or a few Chart of Courses off the top of the deck to rebuild our hand. As it is right now, we're really low on resources. Our opponent has too many of them, and we're not beating them to death quickly enough to be able to end the game. There's the Phoenix. Discarded. Here's Opt. Phoenix is coming back, friends. We don't have a lot of ways to deal with that. They need one more spell. They have another Opt. But let's see if their Phoenix is aggressive or defensive. Many players don't think about blocking with their Phoenix. Oh, this player does. Well, here's an unblockable creature. As far as time monopoly, we are getting absolutely smashed. Our opponent's using about 80% of their timer. We're using 1% of ours. That kind of thing does seem to trigger to who's having fun in Magic. The person who's using their timer is having fun. The person who's not using their timer usually isn't having much fun. Alright, Enigma Drake is here. Will there be attacks yet? They have decided to attack. Alright, my best chance is to put them in some kind of a racing situation. I don't think that casting Sleep here is right. Doing it to achieve this much damage probably won't do enough for me. But I will get in with my Herald and try to get them to exert themselves a little bit more before I use Sleep. There's Curious Obsession. Hopefully our opponent taps out again so Curious Obsession can get on the Herald, and then sleeping sounds like a decent idea. Lava Coil. I can't save it. I could sacrifice it, but I don't think that that achieves anything. What I'm hoping my opponent does is tap out for another Crackling Drake. Just tap a lot of mana for something like that. They're just going on a tear, killing my things. Can't blame them if you got a lot of removal. They don't have a lot of targets, and I'm not much good without creatures. Down to 7. And they say go. It's a bad time, some bad timing there to draw the Tempest Djinn in that spot when I need to cast Sleep. I could cast my Djinn and hope to survive a turn, but that seems very unlikely. Well, let's go here. Gotta start the party somehow. Alright, punch him. Let's see our card. Siren Storm Tamer. Alright, well, we can play it. And we can also play a Tempest Djinn. But if our opponent... So this is the question, is like, how do we win this game? Our opponent has a Beacon Bolt. So then I'm stuck blocking the Drake. If the opponent has 2 removal spells, I lose the game. It's very likely they have another. If I sleep them right now, they untap and kill my Herald anyway. So I think the way that I win the game is my opponent only has the Beacon Bolt, no other removal spells, and I can protect with my Storm Tamer and trade with my Djinn. Because if I just tap out to sleep, my opponent will untap, kill my Herald, and it's like I haven't done anything. So I think I have to make that play. I needed this a turn sooner, though. I know that I'm very likely to die, but it's about making the play not that keeps you alive the longest, but the one where you can actually win the game. So, like I said, a few removal spells and the game is over. Let's see if the opponent can do it. They have a Beacon Bolt in the graveyard, so we know that they have 1. They've been very tedious to play against, so I don't expect them to hurry up anytime soon. Alright, Crackling Drake. That's okay. That gives me a chance, I think. Maximize velocity. Okay. I can block with the Siren Storm Tamer. And I can block the Enigma Drake. It's not very good. Another maximize velocity will bring back another Phoenix, which should be game. I think. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So block, block, Phoenix, Phoenix. Yeah, we lose. If they attack with everything. Yep, they did attack with everything. Unfortunate. Well, it's been a tough day for the free-to-play, but I can assure you we'll come back with a vengeance the next day. Thanks for sticking with me. The support really is the reason I keep going. Thanks for watching the videos. I do watch the view counts. If they dipped, I would probably cancel the free-to-play series and wait until the next expansion comes out before doing more of it. But because you guys keep watching, I keep playing. I know that not every video can be me winning and having a great time. Sometimes I have to get smashed, but hopefully we learn something every time. Like today we learned about Kroll, Harpooner, and Tajik. Well, regardless, thank you to the people on Patreon for putting it on. Thank you to the viewers for watching. And I will see you in the next video.